Hello and welcome to Nick V Uncensored. Today we've got Lewis Herms and we're going to be talking about the Trump's financial crash or reset, which, by the way, is intentional, what he's doing very strategically. Lewis, thank you so much for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
Great. Actually, working on probably too many projects at one time, but I have a big disclosure coming out soon on the Playboy Mansion, and then this whole Trojan Horse project I've been working on, which I'm going to give a little piece of that today in regards to President Trump. So good stuff.
Oh, good. So you're involved in the Playboy Mansion
Yes, yeah, I built it personally. I don't have my bunny ears today,
I
though.
mean, if somebody never knew what we do and they just heard you say that, it just sounds funny, you know?
Right, right.
You
They'd be
know?
like, "Oh, can you get me into the grotto?"
Yeah. Can you get me with Diddy? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's interesting.
They're
Okay,
clueless.
great. So no, absolutely. You're busy working with projects. It's great what what you're doing. So yeah, so there's a lot going on right now with tariffs. Trump is really going really hard
Mhm.
with tariffs, and I think it's strategic. Yes, it's causing the companies abroad making, it's costing them more money in tariffs, which means they have to increase their prices on their products, which then means when they sell it to Americans, it's going to be very expensive. Now, people on the left think, well, what's going on here? Why is Trump doing this? But actually, what it's doing is allowing Americans, businessmen, rich, um, wealthy patriots who are businessmen who um, will make the same products in America, or those companies abroad moving to America where there's no tariffs, and that's how you make America wealthy again. You bring back manufacturing over time to America. But yes, there is a temporary destruction there in the beginning, which Trump has openly said. But people that understand this understand what he's doing. And I think it's genius. What do you think?
Oh, I actually think it is genius, yes, and a lot deeper than that. I think
Oh,
this is the putting us on the precipice of taking down major industries that have been corrupt. Right now I'm looking at this as more of like a financial detox of the evil. So, and think about it, people freak out, but think about a toxic relationship. You're in a toxic relationship. When you get out, a lot of times uh, people they have to find housing and things are more expensive, and they feel like they're late. Now they have less income coming into the house and so on and so forth. So it's all craziness for a while, right? But that's part of the detoxing from that relationship. Same thing that we're doing with the financial. So I'm going to show my screen real quick, and I've been digging into this because I think this is part of President Trump's large Trojan horse. I think this financial collapse is absolutely intentional, and it may go a lot more than we've gotten now, but it's more like a cleansing process.
I like that because that if they were, you're saying that now if some of these corrupt companies abroad who now have these expensive tariffs to pay, who are thinking, well, I need to move my manufacturing to the US, they might be declined of that opportunity because they might not meet policies
Gold
or rule
standard.
the gold
Yep,
stand. The gold card that it's the 5 million.
that's right.
The green card, the not it's better than the green card. It's a gold card,
Right.
$5 million. Do you think that's interlinked with that?
Yeah, I think it's all interlinked, actually. I think it's genius. So we have to, this plan, okay, let's step back. The cabal works on 100-year plans. We can barely get to the weekend with a plan. So Trump's administration, which is huge, and with the military backing, I believe, had been working on these plans for decades, putting these together, and now they're having a chance to really implement this. And again, I think it's a cleansing of sorts, which I'll go into. But first, I'd like to show the statistics themselves so we can see that it's actually happening in real time. And this is what people are freaking out about. But Trump has all the leverage. Look at when you're looking at these statistics. Can you see that on your screen, Nick?
Yeah.
All right. So for here's an example. So what I did is I charted this out So it starts the day he took office, January 20th, and it goes to actually last Friday, a little bit part of April 7th, which is today. So to give you an idea, this is just silver. So he started at silver at $30.75. Silver went up today, though it's dropped. Now silver as of uh, April 4th dropped to 29.65. So his silver under Trump's administration has actually dropped for the time being. But let's add in the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones has seen a drop from right here, 44,000, all the way to 38. And based on the markets right now, it's actually a total of about 13% drop under President Trump. So people are freaking out. This is why this doesn't happen under conservatives usually in office. It did happen in 2001 under Bush, but that was an anomaly, right? This doesn't generally happen under a conservative president at the beginning of his term. S&P 500, same thing. S&P 500 started at 6,049 and now it's down currently 15.38%. It's actually down about 17% now as of today. 17% drop is huge. Crude oil, same thing. Now that can look as a positive for the consumer, but it's still a net drop of over 20%. That's huge. And then I know you're into crypto. Bitcoin has
Yeah.
dropped almost 25%. So think about all of those precipitous drops. Now, why is that important? Because under President Trump, with these drops, people are having a lot of fear. But here's the way it happens in the market. Even Nasdaq has dropped about 16%. Those are massive drops. Why is it a good thing though? Because this is a cleansing. There's a lot of evil within inside the markets, right? Now, I know most patriots watching this know that BlackRock and Vanguard and a couple other big huge corporations control most of the stocks and pretty much control the world from a financial standpoint. How do you take them down? You attack their financial base. I just gave you the highest is the drop is S&P 500. Here's what people don't know. BlackRock and Vanguard both are down almost 25% since President Trump took office. Now, think about the way they trade also. They trade in options, so they only use a percentage of their money to trade against the market, right? So a 25% drop is catastrophic. And if this can go down to 40 or 50%, he's gutting the industries that have been controlling the world forever.
I want to add something in here, Lewis. When you buy stocks and they go up, you can use those stocks as leverage or collateral to borrow more money.
Mhm.
And if these stocks over here fall below a certain point, you can become bankrupt. They have to take these assets, or you have to pay them more money, and if they don't have it, then they're going to start going bankrupt to a certain
Right.
point. It starts. So that's what's happening possibly.
That's what I see. Because what happens is you have the Black Rocks and the Vanguards of the world that leverage their money and they leverage their stocks. They can't take so in order for them to go bankrupt, they don't need to lose 100%, right? They can lose a percentage of it, a large percentage of it. So this is going to be very interesting to watch. Now, why is this a good thing? Well, number one, it's a good thing because you have the evilness in the world that is being hit financially. So their foundation, their infrastructure is dropping precipitously. But anytime there's a vacuum, which is happening, it's going to have to be filled. And this is where the market will start to rebuild and the finances will start to rebuild and gold will rise. But you know what? Silver is the one that they've been holding down. They've been holding down silver forever. So usually when the markets are crashing like this and the US dollar, by the way, which I haven't even mentioned. In fact, let me check here. I think the US dollar has dropped a lot. Let's go right here. It has dropped since Trump has been in. Where is it? US dollar. There it is. Almost 6.5%. That's huge. So with all that happening, what usually happens? Silver would normally, gold and silver would skyrocket. Gold has kind of fluctuated, but silver is actually down from when Trump took office.
Right.
This is amazing because what happens is this is the last stronghold of the cabal. So they're trying to manipulate silver. And then my opinion, this is only an opinion, is they're going to let it fly and it's going to skyrocket, and then they're going to take as much as they can out of that to save themselves. So I find it interesting that when this is going on, that silver is just flatlined pretty much since the beginning of his administration. So, and if you have silver, you have the power.
So do you think that we're going to see even more of a crash, or do you think it's going to stabilize about where it's at now?
No, I think you're going to see more. I think this is actually intentional.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unintentional. The reason why President Trump keeps coming out in his administration, just be patient, just be patient, just be patient. If this was going to be a short thing, I don't think they would say be patient. I believe this is a longer term. It could be more weeks, could be more months. I don't know. I would not be shocked if we go the markets and everything drops 40 to 50%. It would not shock me in the least. Now remember, because what has not happened yet with the falls of the market and the Vanguards and the BlackRocks being just torched right now. Think about it. Losing 25% of your value in since January 20th, that's unheard of for
Hmm.
these massive, massive funds. So the fact that this is all happening, what have we not seen though? We have not seen what? Bank closures, and we have not seen real estate take a dive. It's slowly going, but it has not taken a dive. Those two things will, I believe, will follow what we see in the market, and then we're going to see the real cleansing happen, and the rebuild will be glorious because we, the people, will have an opportunity to rebuild the way it should be. So I believe this is intentional. I believe it's a cleansing of sorts, and I don't look at it as bad as at all. I also, here's the one thing is not said, Nick, and this is the most important part, probably. And you and I have said this on the program before. Why are people not fully awake? Because it has not hit them in the wallet yet. As soon as you start to hit people in the wallet and they start paying attention, now they're going to say why. And when they say why, then we can flood them with the answers of what's really going on. So ultimately, I look at this as a positive, not a negative.
So tell me, what would happen to the Federal Reserve Bank? Are they going to go under as well? And how is that linked in there?
Yeah, I think the feds may have already been taken out, to be honest with you. I think that's being propped up right now as an optic. It's totally my opinion, though, just so you know. But it looks like there's been some things that are done behind the scene, and the feds are an illegal corporation. Let's just say it what it is, right? So
So
it's the Treasury that we should be working off of, if anything.
no, of course, the Federal Reserve is corrupt. It's owned by the Rothschild banking. It's just printed from thin air and inflation and all this corruption. We don't want that. But what we do like is a dollar, but it has to be backed by gold. Is that the correct understanding that we should have?
100%.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
100%. Silver
so
and gold.
absolutely. So dollar backed by gold. And then I heard XRP, the cryptocurrency, because it's cheap, it's fast,
Mhm.
it's a lot cheaper and faster than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's expensive, um, but Bitcoin is capped to 21 million, whereas XRP there's billions of coins, also capped, but it's cheap and fast. The CEO of Ripple was with Brad Garlinghouse was with Trump in the G summit meeting, which I found very interesting. That Trump even mentioned about including XRP in the executive order of modernization of the banking system. Um, and this is going to be used. XRP is going to be used as a cross-border payments because it's really fast. We won't be. It will be replacing the SWIFT, meaning we won't be waiting about a week for us to receive money for cross-border payments. And also, 300 to 500 banks worldwide have partnered with XRP now, and US Santander is one of them, Bank of America, American Express, Japan. So it's very exciting. And the SEC, the Security Exchange Currency Department, which is a government agency, which I call the deep state, another arm of the deep state, was suing Ripple XRP for
Hmm.
many years.
They were.
Yeah,
You
tried
couldn't
to
buy
say,
it if you were in the States. And I think it's actually the Securities Exchange Commission. You
oh
couldn't
yeah,
purchase it if it was in the United States either. For a long, long time, you had to play some games in order to get XRP, which was a big clue, wasn't it?
this is it. I was going to say it's a very big clue, and they've lost the case. We're just waiting for them to announce it, that they've dropped the case, and it's a very big clue because the same way they go after Trump to indict him is the same way they're going after Ripple, XRP, because they don't want it to dominate their global financial system, which which is a big threat to them. So there's a lot of clues here why, and this is what makes me, from the points that I've just addressed, why it makes me interested and keen to invest in some XRP coins,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, and keep it in a private ledger.
Yeah, and you teach me more about that, which I like. So that's a direction I'm really paying attention to now.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think, and the thing is, when it replaces, or if it replaces the Swift system, that means $5 trillion per day will worth of transactions will be going through the cross-border payments through XRP, pushing the price up to $100 to $1,000 per coin. And right now it's at $2. I mean, some people are saying Bitcoin is Elvis Presley was the first. Before Elvis, there was nothing. John Lennon said that. But XRP is going to be the Michael Jackson. You know, you know that's
Nick
how
has to get in a Michael Jackson reference. I love it.
yeah. There's two kings. So I think there's something going on here, and from these points, I'm definitely keen in that, and it's freedom. It's on the blockchain. You can't print it. It's fantastic, and yeah, I like it that Trump's spoken about XRP as well, and his meeting with Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. So, you know, let's talk about silver. You wanted to talk about silver, so you're saying potentially it's very well sustained. We know it's undervalued. I think JP Morgan has suppressed it for so many years.
Mhm.
What do you think the potential of silver could go to?
Well, we also have to look at the trajectory. So if you look back a few decades ago, gold and silver would always go up exactly the same, not the same amounts, but the same trajectory, always. And then there was a time where gold went like this and silver started to lay out. That was the beginning of the manipulation of the silver. And we're talking actually a previous 100 years, they would just go up like this all the time. What happened is the silver started to go like this and gold kept skyrocketing. Eventually, silver is going to have to get back on the same trajectory as gold. In order to do that, since it's like this, it's going to have to go like this to catch up. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that silver and gold will be the same price. No, I'm going to say they'll have the same gap between them that they used to have, which is going to take a lot to get to there. So I believe silver's the play. Plus, I think silver is so stable, has been so stable for a long, long time, and you don't have to spend as much to get a lot more of it. So,
So let's
I
assume. Sorry, I cut you off there, Lewis.
no, go ahead.
So let's assume gold stays at $3,000 per ounce. Okay, let's just pretend. Okay,
Mhm.
where should silver be below that? Where is that gap? Like, let's draw the gap for an
Probably
example.
100 to 150.
100 to $150, yeah,
Yep,
per ounce. And right
per
now
ounce.
it's at $29 per
About
ounce.
30 bucks. That's right.
Right. Okay.
So it's got
Um,
massive growth potential just to get back on par where it was with gold back in the future. And I'm not a financial advisor. That's not what's going on here. I just absolutely love silver, and I love, the guy that I work with to get silver. It's just He's aces because I know he charges the people that purchase silver sometimes a third of what other gold companies out there charge. So it's a no-brainer to work with somebody with so much ethics.
Let's talk about Verity Metals, the person that we both know,
Hmm.
regarding silver, because we are doing a special deal for the viewers, for the Patriots, where we're giving away a free silver coin, a 1 ounce coin.
So yeah, if you do business with Verity Metals, I've already negotiated with Matt because I want to always take care of people, and I've done this on behalf of Nick. So if you were to call Matt, I'll bring his website up to show you too. If you're going to text or call Matt directly or go on his website and say you spoke to Nick, you do business with him, he's going to send you a free silver coin, which I think is awesome. Not to mention, you're already going to pay a half to a third less in fees than you pay with another company. It's a no-brainer. And the way he tracks his sales is brilliant. He'll send it to your house if you want it. He'll put it in a bank next to you. He'll flip an IRA. He's got every option available, and he does gold also. But what I love is he really likes dealing in coins because the coins retain their value at a higher mark, and they're already a set above silver spot price and gold spot price when you deal with that because it's currency. It's real U.S. minted currency. So that's just why I deal with him. All those factors, and it took me about 5 years. I got approached by so many metals dealers, and I just wouldn't do it until he convinced me of his process and his fees that he takes care of the people. So here I'll show his website real quick.
Yeah, show his website. And while you do that, I just want to say that I do the interviews with Matt. And what I like about him, he doesn't just talk about this. He comes on and he's very awake. He's a real patriot.
He
And
is.
he's got a lot of information. Like if he did not do the gold and silver, I would be having him on my show just to talk to him about politics because he's very well versed in what's going on in politics. He's very awake. And
Yeah,
it's
he's
really good
very
for us to be, yeah, it's great for us to be dealing with somebody like that.
That's
Not
right.
like these other companies where they work for the IRS and they don't even release the metals to you physically. Matt is the only one that gives it to you physically if you want it physically. There's that option there. The others don't do that. This is the first time we've ever encountered, a partnership with somebody like Matt who's doing this. And I think it's fantastic because we have real ownership and control of the assets away and out of the government.
Yep, it's true. And what's awesome too is he loves talking about Patriot stuff. Yes, but he's a collector. So if anybody wants to talk about old George magazines, JFK Jr., he loves collecting historical documents. So he's you may even be able to convince him to send you a George magazine. He tends to do that often. So I would just here's his website. I would either here, let me expand this real quick. I didn't know I was going to show all this. Here we go. I would just contact him directly. So you can go to veritymetals.com, but he also appreciates the text message. So his phone number is there, 480-717-9081, 480-717-9081. If you want to get the free coin, you have to just say, I saw you on Nick's program. He'll know exactly who Nick is, right? He's a small outfit too, which I really like, Nick. So he's a good guy, and you get to deal with him directly. So 480-717-9081. Text him first or go to veritymetals.com. Uh, cool guy. But if you want somebody to take care of you, I don't think there's anybody better to do it than him.
No, Matt's very good. Thank you very much, Lewis, for that. I appreciate that for explaining that. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish? I mean, how long is this crash going to go for?
I don't, I'm not a predictor for sure. The indications though of President Trump is forcefully coming out and saying, be patient, be patient. In fact, I don't know if I have it here, but it was very interesting, Nick. No, I don't have it right here. His last statement he just made was very, very powerful on how pretty much don't be a wimp if you're conservative. Hang in there. This is part of the whole process. He's taking down 1,000 years of deep state
Yeah.
madness is not going to happen overnight. So the fact that he has so much passion in that, Nick, would tell me this is going to go probably a few months longer, not just a week or two longer. But we'll see. I'm in it for the long haul. And I believe if we look at the fruits, I think he's getting to where slowly where we need to be in order to take our not our country back, but ultimately all countries, because we're going to lead by example here.
And we need to kick the deep state out for and lead by example for all the countries to do that.
Yep,
Because we,
absolutely,
but
absolutely.
Lewis, thank you very much again. Thank you so, so much. The link's below in the description, and we'll speak again very soon. You take care and God bless. Bye bye.